Hello, chess friends, and welcome to the Art of Chess channel, and welcome back to our Queen's Gambit decline studies. So in this studies, we have seen some great openings and great defenses after the first moves d4, d5, and c4. And today I wanted to show really a beautiful attack in the so-called modern variation of the Queen's Gambit decline. And I guarantee you, this attack is really hard to defend. Many great players didn't know how to react against the sort of a strange positional trades of pieces that's possible in this particular line. And in my opinion, this line that I'll show you now is really surprise weapon. It's really surprise element. No one expects you to do this kind of a stuff. So in my opinion, really line worth to study. Although this line that I'll show you is probably not even the best suggested line by the top engines, but I think in chess we should really search for openings and for opening lines that make us comfortable to play, because there are many of these positional battles, of these positional struggles, and then you just battle for one square, then you just battle for one tiny little improvement of the piece or something. But in this line I think you have really fun, because it's a direct way, it's a direct method to attack black immediately with all of your forces that you have in the game. So in my opinion, as I said, really one of the best methods to beat black's Queen's Gambit decline. So let's see now what is this idea, what is first of all the modern variation, how we should play this beautiful attack. So the first move is of course our move d4. We have d5 by black, c4 the Queen's Gambit, e6 the Queen's Gambit decline, knight to c3, knight to f6, and now we have the so-called modern variation with the move bishop to g5. So this move is of course pinning the knight. It is overloading a little bit the knight that's connected to the pawn on d5. Black, in my opinion, has two good choices here. Black can go really into a wild asymmetrical position with the move d takes c4. I myself like to play d takes c4 more than this move that we'll analyze today, the move bishop to e7. It's also solid line when it comes to evaluation. The evaluation is probably equal, but bishop to e7 is of course more positional. It's more solid, I think, here for black. So now we are playing the normal e3, connecting the pawn to the pawn d4, and we are also getting our bishop out. If d takes c4 happens now, the bishop comes out with the tempo, which is now a good choice of course for white. Now castling, knight to f3, normal development, b6. So b6 is now an idea to develop the light square bishop on a good square and targeting of course the e4 square. Many times you see also lines like knight to e4, which creates a liberating line for black. Black wants to occupy the e4 square and will have maybe sort of a space advantage here in the center of the board. So now we play bishop to d3, and you see now this move bishop to d3 is already hitting the pawn on h7. And now we ask ourselves the question, what is defending the square h7? Which is the key defender of the square h7? It's obviously the knight on f6. So that's why in the continuation we are trying to get rid of the key defender, the knight on f6, by simply playing bishop takes f6. And it's a strange, as I said, it's a surprise element. It's really strange to give up your bishop for a knight in such an early stage of the game, but I guarantee you, you have really a direct way to attack black. You have really a direct method to beat black in an early stage of the game. So now black continues, for instance, with the move bishop to b7, which is now the normal idea. And now comes also a very important move, c takes d5, or you can play, of course, bishop to f6 immediately. So let's see now, c takes d5, e takes d5, and now we play this idea bishop to f6. And I guarantee you, this is not easy to play anymore for black. The evaluation is about equal. That's not the point here. You didn't gain maybe a huge advantage or something, but notice that these bishops, although they have a good activity here in both of these diagonals, but they're actually blocked out. And we got rid of the knight on f6, and now the weak square on h7 is now a clear target. We just create now attack against this weak pawn on h7. Now you can make two things. You can play, of course, queen to c2 immediately, directly attacking the pawn on h7, or you can launch a flank attack with the move h4. And this is really a sharp attacking method, and I guarantee you, not many players will know how to defend against this position, because the best move actually for black is here to break and enter, at least try to break and enter here with the move c5. But now I wanted to show first a beautiful game. It was played by the legendary Frank Marshall against Amos Byrne at the beginning of the 20th century. This was really a devastating attack here by Frank Marshall. He just launched the h4 attack here immediately. Black tried to stop the progress with move g6. Is trying to keep now some kind of a nice pawn chain in order to block the light square activity here. But now here h5 immediately. Look how important this knight was on f6. Now black tried to create some escape routes here for the king, but now after h takes g6, h takes g6, now Frank Marshall just attacked now the pawn on g6. Here in the continuation, bishop to g7 was played, but now basically the game was already over because here Frank Marshall sacrificed simply the bishop for 2 pawns, and now the knight comes into the game. The queen came on f6, and now maybe you can pause the video and try to see now the best continuation here for white. It's a forced checkmate in 2, just for fun. Try to solve this mini puzzle. So okay, the correct move is of course here the decoy, getting the king to h8, and now when the king is on h8 we can deliver here checkmate on h7. So see, by getting rid of this knight on f6, I think black is facing many tactical problems. So you see, with queen to c2, h4, h5, we can really at least provoke some structural weaknesses. Of course, black can play also h6. Black doesn't have to play g6. Black can also play h5. But whatever black is doing, I think we can agree that at least he created some kind of a weakness in front of the king, and now the attack on the light square diagonal is simply devastating with the support of the queen, with the support of the knight, with also the potential g4 move. G4 should not also be forgotten. G4, g5 is also an opportunity. I'll show you now an example how black got challenged with the move g4. So it's now really, I think, a direct method to beat this sort of strange setup here of black. So let's see now another example. Here we have a beautiful game by Salim Saleh. We have here again this idea, through the 3 knights variation of the Queen's Gambit decline. Again, we play this modern variation with the move bishop to g5. We play e3, b6, and now after bishop to f6, it was a different move order, but we get exactly the same position. C takes d5, e takes d5. Again, with bishop to d3, bishop to b7, we have this beautiful attack with the move h4. Now, black tried h6. Black didn't want to play this g6 idea. We have seen that when the pawn was on g6, it was an obvious target of white. So white simply proceeded with queen to c2, challenged the pawn chain with the move h5. Now black tried the beautiful move h6. But now, as we said, g4 is also here an opportunity. Here g6 was played, here g5, simply kicking with the bishop, h takes g5, h takes g5. Again, the bishop has to retreat, again with the same motif, finally hitting the pawn on g6. So of course black challenges now the center of the board, but it's simply too slow. Here queenside castling was played, knight to c6, and now again his beautiful tactical shot, bishop to g6, f takes g6, queen to g6, and now the rook took here the knight on f3, but it doesn't matter, it was simply too slow. Rook to h7, the queen defends everything, but now this other rook is coming into the game, and basically this is now forced checkmate sequence. King to f8 was played, we have a rook to h8, bishop to h8, rook to h8. Now after a couple of moves, the queen was also taken here, queen to d5 was played, and after a couple of more moves we got this stunning tactic, knight to d6, and in this position black resigns. So I think we can agree it's strange to give up the bishop for a knight, but it causes so many tactical problems, especially after this move. Let's go also back. It's, I think, also one of the most important moves of this attack, when you play the move c takes d5, because after e takes d5, look at this, black already played the move b6, is playing now the move bishop to b7, but the bishop is blocked out by its own pawn structure. That's, I think, not a good way here for black to play. Now the bishop is blocked out. This also bishop is blocked out by our own pawn chain here. But now with bishop to d3, as we said, queen to c2, and h4, h5, g4, g5, I think you'll have fun by destroying black in this particular position. So the last example that I wanted to show you in this particular position was a beautiful game also played by Rudolf Spielmann against Simon Rubinstein. We have a similar position again. Black got challenged with this beautiful h4 move, and black played now the solid move c5, challenged white center for now, but now black got challenged with this beautiful Greek gift tactic with the move bishop to h7. I have to say here this is not the correct move. If black now plays the game correctly, this tactic is not working. But look how strange it is here really to play the game, because here after king to h7, now the knight comes into the game, and there is simply only one good move here for black. Black cannot take, of course. Bishop to g5, h takes g5 is not working because you get checkmated here. The queen is coming into the game. We'll just include the rook into the game now. For instance, queen to f5. So whatever black is doing in this particular line, black is losing. So that's why after this Greek tactic and the move knight to g5, you have to play king to h6, and that was also Rubinstein's continuation here. It's really strange to see the king like this here on this particular square, but actually this is now the correct way. That was the simple defense. In the continuation, we have now queen to d3 by Spielmann. He's trying here the check on h7. Here g6 post plate, and now again a new stunning move here by Spielmann. He played now the move h5, and believe me or not, the correct move here for black is to go king takes g5. That's the only defense. That's now the only way to defend his position here from black's perspective. But unfortunately, here for Rubinstein, he tried bishop to g5, but did create now here again a devastating attack. H takes g6. The king has to move. Now rook to h7 is coming. King to f6. The queenside castling move came now. The queen will finally get into the game. So it was really now a strange position. You cannot even take now this one. Your bishop is hanging here. So again, black can maybe defend his position, but I think it's really unpleasant to watch your king here like on f6. So from this point on, black is really struggling to get some kind of a defense here. So c4 was the continuation here by Rubinstein. We have now queen to e2, king to e7, now f4 attacking the bishop. We have now e4, trying of course to open the center. D takes e4, knight to e4. The king gets finally out of the attack. Now d5 here by Spielmann. We have knight to a6, and now here a beautiful move, g7, simply trying to attack the rook. The rook has to move now to g8, and now a rook to h6, trying of course to attack the bishop. Bishop to g7, but now with rook to d6, basically the game was over. So it was a beautiful king hunt, but I think we can agree that black had better defensive moves. But I wanted to show really how really many great players didn't know how to react against this Greek gift tactics, against this long diagonal ideas here by black. So here queen to c7 was played, queen to c4. Here the queen was taken after a couple of moves. Simon Rubinstein simply resigned. So as I said, let's go back. Let's go to the critical idea of this attack. So we are giving the bishop for knight on f6, and we are training the pawn on d5, creating sort of a structure where the bishops don't have such a good activity, and we are relying on our attack with bishop to d3, queen to c2, queenside castling, and h4 h5, g4 g5. That's now the setup. Maybe with a different move order you will reach the same position. Be careful what your opponent is doing, but I think this is the way to go. As I said, you don't have to play this line every time, but as a surprise element you can use it sometimes, because I think in chess it's also important to have different sidelines that you have studied at home. Maybe you don't have to shift from d4 to e4. Maybe if your d4 player stuck to your d4 play, but you have to have, I think, different sidelines that you apply, because now everything is recorded in chess, and when you're playing maybe just one line, one sideline and similar stuff, then your opponents will prepare for you. Now I think this line you can use as your surprise weapon. You see it's played in top grandmaster level. It has been played also in beautiful chess history, in the romantic era of chess. So incredible stuff, hitting simply here the pawn on h7 as a tactical idea. So okay, I think this is a good line. If you want to study it, really really hard. If you want to see more about the Queen's Gambit decline, here's the link to our playlist. We have now about 90 videos about Queen's Gambit decline. As I said, we have here the Chigon defense, Tarash defense, semi-Tarash, and many more. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what to say, chess is the best, of course.